From Animal Crossing to Yu-Gi-Oh! And every game in between, welcome to Amiibo Historian, where today I bring you the complete history of Amiibo. Since Nintendo has kept Amiibo going with no official end date in sight, I thought today, November 21st, 2024, the 10th anniversary of the first Amiibo release, would be the perfect time to post this video. Now I did want to dive into a bit of Nintendo's history from before Amiibo, starting with the e-reader cards and working our way up, but this video is going to be long enough as is, so let's just get started. 2014. June 10th, the first 12 Smash Bros. Amiibo were announced at E3 2014. Those being Donkey Kong, Fox, Kirby, Link, Mario, Marth, Peach, Pikachu, Samus, Villager, Wii Fit Trainer, and Yoshi. At the time, there wasn't a whole lot known about the figures, other than they would work with Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, but future games and series were promised. It was also shown how the Amiibo would work with Smash, in which each character could be tapped into the game and trained to fight alongside you. November 21st. Those 12 Amiibo were released on the same day as Smash for Wii U and Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire on Nintendo 3DS. And from the start, it was plainly obvious that the characters were not all produced with the same quantity. The most well-stocked characters were Mario and Peach, with Villager, Marth, and Wii Fit Trainer being so questionably stocked that less than 2 weeks after release, rumors about Nintendo never re-releasing certain Amiibo came to light. This created not only a rush on what the community referred to as the Holy Trinity, but also eventually led to 2015's Amiibo-Geddon, but I'll cover that in a little bit. In the E3 ads, Link had a thin plastic stand, but once launch rolled around, he was stuck on a plastic yellow stand. Shortly after launch, the infamous double-arm cannon Samus and legless Peach appeared. This did not help the scalper situation, as anything that was slightly off was snatched up and then they were attempted to be sold for a massive profit. With Amiibo officially releasing, you could start using Amiibo costumes in Mario Kart 8. While not every costume could be unlocked yet, you could see that Toad was eventually going to get an Amiibo alongside all the Smash Amiibo. Of the 19 costumes, 9 were able to be unlocked as of the release of Amiibo. November 27th. With the release of the Hyrule Warriors 1.4.0 update, we got one of the very first major content locks from Amiibo, with Link unlocking the Ancient Spinner weapon. While you can get a Triforce Spinner to use in the game, the specific Ancient Spinner weapon can only be obtained using a Link Amiibo and was advertised as much. As for other figures, any Zelda series Amiibo will unlock 3+ star weapons, other Amiibo will unlock 3-star or lower rated weapons. December 6th. According to Nintendo Japan, this was the day that Japan had Smash Waves 1 and 2 released, which meant an 18 character release date. Since I can't find a proper patch note update, I put a surprise game on the same day that Japan got the Amiibo. One Piece Super Grand Battle X. This was a Japan exclusive 3DS game that had Amiibo functionality. Mario and Luigi gave Luffy a costume, Yoshi had one for Usopp, DK for Frankie, Samus for Nico Robin, Kirby for Trooper, Fox for Sanji, Marth for Brooke, Link for Zero, and Wii Fit Trainer for Nami. December 14th. Over in America, Wave 2 released 8 days later, which was a Sunday, so that was an odd release day leading into Christmas. But it didn't matter, as the rumors of some Amiibo never being reprinted had ensured that this wave sold out significantly faster than Wave 1. This wave only had 6 characters: Zelda, Pit, Little Mac, Luigi, Diddy Kong, and Captain Falcon. 2015. February 2015. 2015 started very strangely. This was the first wave with retail exclusive Amiibo, and it absolutely did not go well for a lot of collectors. I will say this based on the North American releases, because trying to confirm every exclusive in every region would be nearly impossible to fact check at this point. Wave 3 was strange, to say the least. There was only a soft street date, so retailers just kind of put out their Amiibo when they pleased. This was the last time there were double-digit figures released, and it was absolutely wild. With 11 Amiibo released and the craze approaching its peak, retailers decided to cash in. With the exception of Amazon and Walmart, every major retailer had an exclusive Amiibo. Target had Rosalina and Luma, GameStop had Shulk, Best Buy had Meta Knight, and Toys R Us had Lucario. The other 7 were Bowser, Sheik, Toon Link, King Dedede, Mega Man, Sonic, and Ike. With the rarity of Marth, the little stock that Ike got was very quickly bought up. Fun little fact, an Ike Amiibo was the first thing sold on Amazon Mexico, February 10th, after roughly 3 months of amiibo being available, Nintendo finally updated Smash Bros. For 3DS to be able to use them. This is the exact same functionality as the Wii U version, where you can train the amiibo. However, at this time, you could only use the functionality if you had a new 3DS or new 3DS XL. February 13th, Ace Combat Assault Horizon Legacy Plus on 3DS would allow you to tap in amiibo to get early unlocks of aircraft designs. February 20th, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse would give you a character-based power-up from Kirby, Meta Knight, and King Dedede once per day. March 13th, Nintendo certainly tried to do something here. Codename Steam was basically asking to be carried by amiibo because XCOM but super slow was not high on anybody's wishlist. Intelligent Systems tried to hype it up a bit by allowing you to type in Ike and Marth and eventually Robin and Lucina to aid you in battle. I don't think it helped. March 20th. This was the first time Nintendo released amiibo that weren't related to Smash Bros. They were instead being used for Mario Party 10 and their own amiibo party. The first 6 Super Mario Bros. Amiibo available were Bowser, Yoshi, Mario, Peach, Toad, and Luigi. Mario specifically at launch was bundled with the game. Compared to Smash, these weren't too terribly hard to obtain, especially since Toad was the only one that hadn't gotten a Smash Bros. Figure yet. That is, with one exception, the 7th release on this day, Gold Mario. The very first Gold amiibo, and a spectacular example of why Walmart shouldn't be allowed to have exclusive collectibles. Officially, Gold Mario released on the same day as the rest of the first Mario Bros. Wave, but considering it was Walmart, he was very hard to track down. All 7 of these amiibo were able to be used in Amiibo Party, along with Rosalina, who had just released a month prior, and Wario and Silver Mario once they were released. And each character would unlock a custom game board for Amiibo Party, where you could combine with other pieces to create a unique layout. I would be very negligent to leave out one of my favorite Wii U games, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, finally got amiibo functionality with the release of the Toad amiibo. This allowed you to play Pixel Toad hide and seek challenges where you... Yeah, it's hide and seek. I'm not going to explain that. Moving on, April 1st. This day had easily one of the largest announcements of amiibo in one setting. 15 for Smash Bros. Releasing between May and September, 3 for Young Yoshi, 3 Splatoon amiibo, and the first wave of Animal Crossing amiibo cards with Isabelle, Peanut, and Goose shown. More amiibo functionality for Mario Kart 8 was announced with 9 new costumes featuring Pac-Man, Sonic, Mega Man, Toad, Bowser, Wario, Rosalina, Villager, and Olimar. You know, it was a good day. April 2nd. The very next day was the day that all hell officially broke loose. GameStop had pre-orders go live for Wave 4, and it went insanely poorly. I think that might be understating it. There was one set time for the entire country, so their servers instantly shut down. People waiting in-store were not any better off than people that were trying online. Several hours later, it was possible to obtain what was left, which is how I managed to get NES. April 11th. Xenoblade Chronicles 3D released on Nintendo 3DS, and would allow you to unlock in-game tokens if you tap Shulk. April 30th. This was the release date of Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Hits. Arguably, this is what people expected Amiibo to do, since it was a game focused on Amiibo giving you content. You can get 32 demos from NES and SNES by tapping in 32 Amiibo. May 29th, a day that will live in Nintendo infamy. While there were less retail exclusives than Smash Wave 3, this was the worst release in terms of actually being able to purchase Amiibo. 3 different series had releases on this day: Smash Bros. Wave 4, the first 3 Splatoon Amiibo, and Silver Mario, which as far as I found was a North American exclusive release. This was also a multi-Pokemon Amiibo release, so even more people than normal were out to get the figures. Smash Bros. Obviously had the most with Ness, Jigglypuff, Greninja, Robin, Lucina, Charizard, Wario, and Pac-Man. Jigglypuff, Ness, and Greninja were exclusive to Target, GameStop, and Toys R Us respectively. Splatoon had the Orange Inkling Girl, Blue Inkling Boy, and Green Squid release to coincide with Splatoon's Wii U release. Splatoon's release dropping with Amiibo meant that actual game content was now properly locked behind Amiibo. I am of course referring to their costumes, which with Splatoon was a big deal, as it meant you could easily obtain gear by just completing story levels with certain weapons. June 16th. Nintendo's 2015 E3 Direct was not great. But to save us some time, as all the announcements are going to be covered here in a couple minutes, I'm going to just skip ahead. I don't like being reminded of this one. Following Amiibo Geddon, releases got a little wonky for a bit. Olimar, Ganondorf, and Dr. Mario released in mid to late July, depending on if you were in Oceania, Japan, or a PAL region, and then released a bit later for North America. July 24th, Palutena was exclusive to Amazon on release and was fairly available considering she was the first Amazon exclusive. July 30th, according to Nintendo Japan's Amiibo page, this is the day that the first series of Animal Crossing cards released for Japan. There isn't anything I'll say here that won't be covered in the North American release, but this is important to note for 2 days later, and we'll get to that in just a moment. July 31st, Dark Pit was exclusive to Best Buy, which fit the edgy anti-hero supplier motif that they'd slowly been gaining due to their previous exclusives. August 1st, in the middle of all the insanity that was the 2015 Summer of Smash releases, Nintendo partnered with Character Parfait, which is a Japanese-only magazine, to bring us the promotional card Isabelle. Isabelle CP was for the September-October 2015 release of the magazine, so officially, Japan had a promo card before the first series was even released stateside. September 10th, officially the Wii U Super Mario Maker bundle was released on September 11th, but the Nintendo website says the Super Mario Bros. 30th Anniversary Amiibo were released on the 10th, so... Alright. Regardless of the release date confusion, we received 2 versions of a 3D 8-bit Mario. One in the retro colors, and one in the modern colors. The modern color version was exclusive to the Wii U bundle of Mario Maker, and that was exclusive to Walmart. A similar bundle was created for Europe and Japan, except strangely, those bundles had the classic colors, which was odd for Europe as they had a game bundle with the classic colors as well. For all 3 regions, the US Super Mario Maker Wii U bundle was the only time that an amiibo was exclusively bundled with a console. September 11th. This was also a Smash release. As previously mentioned, Olimar, Ganondorf, and Dr. Mario released after over a month of being available in other parts of the world. Dr. Mario ended up being a Target exclusive, which wasn't the only exclusive in Smash Wave 6. Bowser Jr. was exclusive to Toys R Us, and was fairly available until they closed down. Zero Suit Samus was the only non-exclusive Smash amiibo that didn't release early for Wave 6. The release of Super Mario Maker continued actually locking content behind amiibo, with the 30th Anniversary Mario amiibo locking the big mushroom behind both the classic and modern versions. Depending on which you used, you would transform into an 8-bit Mario with that color palette. You could use basically any other amiibo that were released or releasing up until summer 2016, as those were already planned, to get the costumes without having to do challenge runs. September 20th, the first official crossover for Amiibo was with Skylanders Superchargers and Superchargers Racing. This crossover gave the Wii, 3DS, and Wii U versions exclusive functionality of Hammer Slam Bowser, Turbo Charge Donkey Kong, and their Dark variants. All 4 were exclusive to a different Wii or Wii U bundle. Each also came with a vehicle. Bowser had a regular or dark Clown Cruiser, and DK had a regular or dark version of the Barrel Blaster. The base could be twisted to turn between their Skylander and Amiibo chips, thus earning them the fan name Sky Amiibo. September 25th. To coincide with the release of Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, Nintendo released the first series of Animal Crossing Amiibo cards that had been first mentioned back in April. The idea was simple enough: take your Amiibo, tap it on the NFC reader, and you'll be able to make a house for that villager. This set had 100 cards total, 17 special NPCs, and 83 regular villagers. For the packs in North America, there were 5 villagers and 1 special NPC per pack. With perfect luck, you could theoretically get every card plus 2 extras in just 17 packs. At least initially, the game was packaged with the 3DS NFC reader, which was a way for the older style 3DS systems to use the infrared camera on the back to be able to scan amiibo, since they didn't have the built-in NFC reader like the new 3DS systems. This was also the day that GameStop released their next exclusive, the Retro 3-pack. Rob, Duck Hunt Dog, and Mr. Game & Watch were apparently too risky to release solo in North America, so the Retro 3-pack was the only way to get any of these amiibo, and ultimately the only difference between owning it or the international individual releases was a plastic stand that held the different Game & Watch forms. October 9th. This game may blow, but that doesn't mean we didn't get the most accurately sized amiibo with the release of Chibi Robo Ziplash. Tapping in Chibi Robo gets you Super Chibi Robo and a special 7th world that looks far better than the rest of the game. At this time, Chibi Robo was exclusive to a bundle with the game. October 16th. Continuing with the trend of amiibo releasing to boost games, Yoshi's Woolly World received 3 amiibo at launch: Green, Light Blue, and Pink Yarn Yoshi. Green Yarn Yoshi was initially bundled with the game. Each of the amiibo would allow you to access 2-player mode with control of both players. Most amiibo released up to this point will unlock a costume with the exception of the amiibo cards and the Pokemon amiibo, which will give you a white t-shirt with the amiibo logo. November 1st, the start of the 7th wave of Smash was yet another exclusive. Toys R Us was given the Mii Fighter 3-pack as their 4th, 5th, and 6th exclusives. This pack contained a Mii Fighter, Mii Brawler, and Mii Gunner. November 13th, Nintendo released Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival for the Wii U, and it was bundled with 5 amiibo. Isabelle and Digby were released as figures, with Digby being marked as a limited time offer. Now, whether this was supposed to be a limited time offer as part of the game bundle, or if he was supposed to be exclusive to the game, we'll never know because the game sold extremely poorly. The other 3 amiibo were special amiibo cards of Rosie, Goldie, and Stitches, which are the only 3 villagers that are holding anything in their hands or wearing hats that are not part of their default outfits. Now, the reason the game sold poorly, is it because it was bad? You had a boring Mario Party and several mini-games that needed the amiibo cards to make them interesting. You could eventually use all the original 405 Animal Crossing amiibo cards, which, yes, includes Isabelle CP, KK Slider CP, and the aforementioned special Rosie, Goldie, and Stitches, and all 16 of the Animal Crossing figures, so it at least has the most use in terms of technically unique functionality. The only cool part of this game is that if you build a house for a villager and have home designer, then you can use that amiibo card to tap that villager in and have that house kind of show up somewhere on the map. There's also 8 minigames to help round out the package. There's 3 types: single player, multiplayer, and both. The first set I'll touch on are the ones that can be both. There's Balloon Island, where you try to time tapping your amiibo cards to land villagers on a moving island. The Quiz Show, in which you aim to get a high score by correctly guessing Animal Crossing trivia questions. The single player version is a time test to see how much you can answer in 90 seconds, and the multiplayer is, score based. The multiplayer only minigame Fruit Path is a minigame that uses the dice number on the associated amiibo card to move that many spaces and ultimately doesn't really do anything exciting as you aren't locked into a specific set of amiibo cards like some of the other minigames, so you can just tap the exact number you need to get a high score. Then we have Amiibo Card Battle, which similarly uses the dice on the amiibo cards, but instead you win if you have the highest card, unless the zodiac signs happen to match. The game does limit you to 6 cards, but I can promise you there are more than 6 cards that have a 6 as their number. The single player games are either really interesting or really lame, and there is no in between. You have Rossetti Bop, where you have to tap each of your 3 cards to hit the various Rossetti that are popping up and timing it to not hit the color that your villagers are holding. Acorn Trace, in which you place 3 amiibo into the fray and try to collect all the acorns so you can escape. Mystery Campers, which is the classic game of hit and blow, but with a campsite and 6 villagers, 4 of which go and hide in tents. You win by correctly guessing which 4 are in the tents and in what order. The last minigame is the best game in the whole package, Desert Island Escape. Using 3 amiibo, you have to gather equipment and food to survive while you look for all the parts to escape the island. This one can actually be challenging depending on which amiibo you pick, as each has a certain attribute that will help or hinder your progress. The other parts of the first wave of Animal Crossing also released alongside Amiibo Festival. Reese, Cyrus, and KK Slater won a 3-pack that legit could not sell because nobody actually cared about the alpaca and only won a KK, so $30 was a bit too much. Mabel and Tom Nook released as solos, and Lottie from Happy Home Designer was released as a Target exclusive. This scarred Target for a long time in terms of amiibo because Lottie did not sell. To continue Smash Wave 7, Mewtwo released as the first Smash DLC amiibo, officially answering the question of do you get the DLC if you tap the amiibo? The answer was a resounding no. November 15th. A month after the launch of Woolly World, Toys R Us was given Mega Yarn Yoshi as an exclusive amiibo. Ironically, the Nintendo website still states that Mega Yarn Yoshi will be available exclusively at Toys R Us at launch, though as of recording this, no restock has ever been done. November 20th. 364 days after the release of Smash for Wii U, Falco released as a Best Buy exclusive, officially marking every single fighter as having an amiibo. This was also the release of Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, which allowed all of the Super Mario Bros. Series amiibo, along with Wario, Bowser Jr., and Rosalina, to be tapped in so you could train them to be your doubles partner. November 26th. In Japan, Taiko Drum Master, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the subtitle, released with Pac-Man and the Animal Crossing series amiibo, unlocking music, frames, and figures in the game. November 30th. Chibi Robo was given a solo release that was exclusive to Amazon. I don't think we've ever been given a reason as to why they decided this was a good idea. 2016. January 9th. The year started off with a third-party amiibo release. Yacht Club game Shovel Knight finally released after months of waiting. This was the first amiibo that Nintendo licensed the brand to use without any proper involvement. Shovel Knight was criticized for his less sleek-looking plastic being more similar to the look that the Disney Infinity figures had. There's an argument that the first licensed amiibo were the Sky Amiibo, which were actually seeing a solo release for the non-dark versions. These were dual packs that had DK and Bowser with their respective vehicles. So the updates for the Wii U and 3DS versions of Shovel Knight featuring amiibo functionality were actually initially released in December 2015, but since Shovel Knight didn't release until January, that's when I'm counting it. Shovel Knight unlocked Custom Night and Challenge Mode challenges. Custom Night was just a different way to unlock upgrades. January 22nd. Animal Crossing got its second wave of figures as Nintendo's first official release of the year. This provided us with a mix of special characters from the 2000s, including Kix, Celeste, Rossetti, and Blathers. Smash had another solo as Lucas released as the second DLC character amiibo. The second series of Animal Crossing amiibo cards rounded out the release with another set of 100 cards, 17 special NPCs, and 83 regular. 8-bit Modern Mario became available as a solo release after being exclusive to Walmart's Mario Maker Wii U bundle. It's hard to determine his exact release date though, so I'm just attaching him to these other Nintendo January releases. To coincide with all these releases, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam would allow you to tap in Bowser, Luigi, Mario, Peach, Yoshi, and Toad to unlock character cards to help in battle. February 11th. Another random entry on the list of third-party games with amiibo support is the Wii U and 3DS game, Word Puzzles by Poggy. This functionality is very generic as it generates a puzzle based on the amiibo nickname and the owner's name. February 19th. The triple version of Fire Emblem Fates released with Ike, Lucina, Marth, and Robin getting functionality. All four can be fought to get added to your party. February 23rd. It is really weird looking at this release several years later, as this was Capcom's entry point into bundling games with amiibo. Gold Mega Man was literally just a gold version of Smash Mega Man, with no game using him for unique content like Gold and Silver Mario. Which sucked because Mega Man Legacy Collection was significantly more expensive to get with the amiibo. Using any version of Mega Man will unlock 11 exclusive challenge stages designed by fans. March 4th. Twilight Princess HD and the Wolf Link amiibo were bundled together for $60, which made this one of the best looking amiibo for only $10. The functionality locked behind it was extreme though, as you could enter a dungeon exclusive to the amiibo. Completing the dungeon would give you Wolf Link with the same amount of hearts you had and that functionality could be taken over to Breath of the Wild when it released in 2017, making Wolf Link the amiibo with the best functionality. In addition, Twilight Princess HD allowed you to refill arrows once per day with a Link amiibo, refill hearts once per day per Zelda amiibo, and enter hard mode by tapping Ganondorf, which made you take twice as much damage from enemies and the environment. March 15th, Nintendo and Picopori magazine partnered up to give us the second CP card, KK Slider. This one was a bit more advertised than Isabelle, as I was actually able to obtain it straight from Amazon Japan for the release. The magazine also had a 10-page mini-book that featured Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival for the Wii U. March 18th, before I go into the depth of this day, I'll mention that Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games for 3DS released, allowing you to tap Mario and Sonic to boost their respective Mii costumes for a day. This was also just a very busy day for Amiibo, as 6 figures and 101 cards made their debut. The Wii U's final year gave us a port of the Japan arcade game Pokken Tournament, and with it, the release of the Shadow Mewtwo Amiibo card. This card was exclusive to the first print copies of the game, and didn't get reused with the Switch port of Pokken Tournament DX, so it is one of the few Amiibo that has never been restocked. Tapping the card into Pokken will unlock Shadow Mewtwo early, and all other Amiibo will unlock customization items and random titles that were exclusive to Amiibo. The Animal Crossing Figures line had its third wave with series staples, Rover, Captain, and the duo Timmy and Tommy, which were the first characters on one Amiibo together. According to the Amiibo kiosk, Timmy and Tommy were originally supposed to be a Target exclusive, but following the insane amount of stock left sitting in the back rooms by Lottie not selling, Target apparently backed out of the deal at some point before launch. The 9th wave of Smash featured Ryu, Famicom Rob, and the GameStop exclusive Roy from Fire Emblem, which were the last 3 Smash Amiibo released during the Wii U's lifecycle. Between the history that had been set forth with previous Fire Emblem Amiibo, and the fact that he was a Smash exclusive, made Roy the most sought after of this Smash release, but even he was fairly well stocked from what I remember. I will point out that Japan had received Famicom Rob in 2015, but it's basically a technicality since Nintendo initially had the Rob's release in their original regions before going international. Last but definitely not least, the Animal Crossing Series 3 Amiibo cards launched with another 17 special NPC characters and 83 villagers. March 24th. Hyrule Warriors Legends for 3DS set a precedent moving forward with Warriors Amiibo functionality. For this game, you could use any Zelda series Amiibo and get a weapon with a rating of 3 stars or lower, and also use any other Amiibo to get a 3-star or lower rating. March 25th. Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge for Wii U and 3DS is one of the few games that almost hits the typical gameplay loop of the other Toys to Life series, as you can tap Bowser, Bowser Jr., Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, Luigi, Mario, Peach, Rosalina, Toad, and Yoshi to unlock mini versions of the characters and specific stages. Each character comes with a unique special ability to really emphasize that Nintendo could have done a Toys to Life game and was making more money by not doing so. April 22nd. Star Fox Guard and Star Fox Zero were a dual release for Wii U that originally had an R-Wing amiibo planned, but it was scrapped due to safety concerns. However, that doesn't mean there's not functionality. In Star Fox Guard, you can use Fox and Falco to wipe out all enemies on the current stage once per day, and in Zero, you can unlock a SNES-styled R-Wing with Fox and a black R-Wing with Falco. April 27th. Just as a fun little aside, according to Nintendo's end-of-year fiscal report, there were 24.7 million Amiibo figures and 28.9 million Amiibo cards sold by this point. Keep in mind that the cards in America were released in packs of 6, and outside of North America they were released in packs of 3, and worldwide were cheaper than the figures. May 8th. Something I found while doing the research for gaps I missed with my own collecting experience was that Nintendo UK actually had a contest for Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games for both Wii U and 3DS. You could win a Super Mario Bros. Amiibo or a Sonic Amiibo by having the fastest time in the 100-meter freestyle swimming on Wii U or the longest long jump distance on 3DS. June 10th. Kirby Planet Robobots release day was just before E3 2016 and it released with 4 Amiibo. Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, and Waddle Dee were specifically marked as Kirby series, but that line has actually never been expanded beyond these 4 figures. These 4 would give the player an ability with a costume related to the character, except for Kirby, who would give a UFO ability. Every amiibo released to this point will give a specific ability. This was also the day that the Animal Crossing Series 4 cards released. This was the last set with 100 cards, but by this point the cards weren't really sought after. It's basically guaranteed that you could walk into a store and buy as many packs as you wanted. This was also the pack that Goldie, Rosie, and Stitches were officially released, in a way that wasn't tied to the Amiibo Festival bundle, so that was nice. The very final release of the Animal Crossing series figures was also released on this day, with Isabelle's summer outfit, which kinda slipped into this release to very little fanfare. June 14th was the day of Nintendo's E3 2016 conference, but much like Nintendo's 2015 conference, I will be skipping just to save time. June 24th. The 3DS version was already delayed in North America, so why not have the Wii U version of Mario & Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games also not released in March? This time around, tapping Mario or Sonic will let you play their specific league for a chance to unlock a Mii outfit. July 8th. What better way to celebrate the end of a game than by having Amiibo released to keep the game going? Kalimari could be tapped into Splatoon to bring you a Splatfest concert whenever you wanted. There was also another 3-pack released on this day, a full set of recolors of the original Splatoon 3 set. The squid was orange, the boy had purple hair, and the girl had green hair. While Kalimari would unlock gear in later Splatoon games, they didn't in this one. The 3-pack was nearly the exact same functionality, with the only exception being that they would show up as their colors when tapped. That functionality unfortunately continued through Splatoon 3. Please give them new outfits. In Japan, the Nico Nico on 3DS was updated to allow you to tap Kalimari in order to watch a live musical performance from a concert in Japan. July 21st. Metroid Prime Blast Ball was the demo for Metroid Prime Federation Force, and even with the demo, you had amiibo functionality. You can obtain paint jobs based on the characters by tapping in Bowser, Bowser Jr., Luigi, Mario, Metroid, Peach, Rosalina, Samus, and Zero Suit Samus. August 19th. Easily one of the least anticipated releases of the year, Metroid Prime Federation Force released with amiibo functionality. In addition to the paint jobs that were found in Blast Ball, Samus and Zero Suit Samus unlock paint jobs with auxiliary ammo for campaign missions, and the Metroid amiibo unlocks a paint job with additional repair capsules. Alongside that, we had Style Savvy Fashion Forward allow you to unlock character-themed accessories with Inkling Girl, Isabelle, Kirby, Lucina, Mario, Palutena, Peach, Rosalina, Samus, Sheik, Wii Fit Trainer, Yoshi, Zelda, and Zero Suit Samus. September 1st. In Picross 3D Round 2, you can unlock a character-based puzzle with Bowser, King Dedede, Kirby, Link, Luigi, Mario, Meta Knight, Peach, Toad, and Yoshi. It should be noted that Toad and Peach give the same puzzle. September 29th. Azure Striker Gunvolt 2 released on 3DS with an exclusive fight against the Shovel Knight amiibo. October 4th. I'm not even going to question the logic here. Apparently NT Creatures and Yacht Club Games decided that the next week they'd release a 3DS collection of the first and second Azure Striker Gunvolt games. The Shovel Knight fight is still in this version of the second game. October 8th. Japan received its first exclusive figures with the release of Monster Hunter Stories. Navarro the cat, and then the male and female protagonist with different poses of One-Eyed Rathalos. These never released anywhere else. November 2nd. Nintendo decided to have an Animal Crossing Direct just 13 days after the Nintendo Switch was first shown off. This was the day that we learned of the 50 Welcome Amiibo cards, which were released alongside the physical copies of Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. These 50 cards had unique RVs for the villagers, along with functionality for the Squid Sisters, the Splatoon 3-pack, basically all the Zelda amiibo, and the 405 Animal Crossing amiibo cards that had already been released. The Welcome Amiibo update went live digitally at the time of the Direct, so all of this ability to bring these villagers into your town or interact with them at the cafe was immediately available. November 3rd. The very next day, Japan and Europe released the Animal Crossing X Sanrio cards, a collaboration featuring Hello Kitty, Pom Pom Purring, Little Twin Stars, Cinnamon Roll, My Melody, and Kuripo. In Japan, each pack came with an art sticker which would eventually be used in Animal Crossing New Horizons as posters. November 4th. The beginning of November 2016 continued to be very busy as Mario Party Star Rush released the first Friday of the month and brought 7 new Super Mario Bros. Series amiibo, and hinted at an 8th. Daisy, Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, Rosalina, Waluigi, Wario, and Boo were one of the biggest single series releases without a single exclusive. To make it even better, most of these actually had a fair amount of functionality on launch due to already having a Smash Bros. Version. Boo even glows in the dark, and to this day is the only amiibo with that feature. The 8th amiibo that was hinted at in the game was Bowser Jr. He has a unique pose in the amiibo portion of the game, and was even shown off in a trailer, but there was no actual figure ever released. With Bowser Jr. being used from Smash, every Mario series amiibo allowed you to play the amiibo mode. Characters with data from Mario Party 10 would bring over special dice. Boo unlocked a Boo-themed background for Boo's Block Party early. Dr. Mario unlocked Chill Theme and Rhythm Recital early, and then Gold and Silver Mario would start with their colored dice. November 11th. The 3DS game Teddy Together released with a gameplay loop very similar to Nintendogs. You can use various amiibo to obtain coins to buy outfits for your teddy bear. December 2nd. This was another multi-series release date. The 30th anniversary Zelda and the Animal Crossing Welcome amiibo cards were both released on this day. Even with the introduction of Series 5 in 2021, the Welcome amiibo cards are still easily the worst time I've had looking for the amiibo cards. This is the only Animal Crossing amiibo card set that doesn't have any special characters. All 50 villagers are in their own unique RVs, which of course only mattered in Animal Crossing New Leaf. The 4 Zelda amiibo that released were Toon Link, Toon Zelda, Ocarina of Time Link, and 8-Bit Link. There weren't actually any Zelda games for these to be used in yet, so their functionality for this day was in Animal Crossing New Leaf, where they were now villagers. December 8th. The second set of Monster Hunter Stories amiibo released exclusively in Japan, with 3 Monster Hunter Rider amiibo. This was Barriath and Arroya, Dan's Corey Pico, and Lelia and Cheval. As with the protagonist amiibo, the characters were interchangeable between monsters. 2017. February 2nd. Say hello to QB from Bye Bye Box Boy. HAL Labs puzzle game mascot of the Box Boy series got the lightest amiibo in a bundle with the game exclusively in Japan. Due to that, he has become one of the rarest amiibo. February 3rd. Towards the end of the 3DS's life, Nintendo was doing a lot of Wii U ports, and none more so beloved by me than Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. Not for the game, mind you, but for the Yarn Poochie amiibo. Another bundle exclusive at launch, this amiibo was the 5th and as of now, last Yarn amiibo. As with the Wii U game, tapping a Yoshi amiibo brings in a partner, and the Yarn version will allow you to say patterns to them. Poochie can be brought in to aid you in levels. Most amiibo up to this point will unlock a costume with the exception of the vast majority of amiibo cards, and the Pokemon amiibo, which will give you a white t-shirt with the amiibo logo. March 3rd. The Nintendo Switch released alongside The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and the associated amiibo now had a red logo instead of the old white one. This release brought us Rider Link, Breath of the Wild Zelda, Bokoblin, Guardian, and Archer Link. The Guardian's arms are posable, which is fairly unique and makes it worth the price increase compared to the other amiibo. As for Breath of the Wild, there was a fair amount of functionality. Wolf Link unlocks Wolf Link as a partner, and single-handedly has the best functionality by retaining the number of hearts you had if it was tapped into Twilight Princess HD and you beat the Cave of Shadows. Link or Twilight Princess Link unlock opponent as a rideable horse. All Zelda series amiibo, except for Young Link and Link's Awakening Link, will unlock exclusive gear, and any other amiibo will give you useful items to keep you going on your journey. Shovel Knight got a release for the Switch as well, giving the same functionality of the Wii U and 3DS versions, unlocking Shovel Knight and Challenge Mode challenges. As before, Custom Knight was a different way to unlock upgrades. March 24th. A year after Shadow Mewtwo, Nintendo released the first full set of non-Animal Crossing amiibo cards to coincide with the release of Mario Sports Superstars. This was a 90 card set, so closer to the first 4 series of Animal Crossing amiibo cards in terms of sheer quantity. The difference was that these cards were 5 to a pack instead of 6. The 90 cards were split between 5 sports and 18 characters. The 5 sports were soccer, baseball, tennis, golf, and a newcomer, horse racing. Most of the art is actually reused from older Mario games, but this video is going to be way too long without going through each card and explaining in painful detail where each card got its art from. Props to some of the horse art though, as Mario, Daisy, Rosalina, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Metal Mario, and Pink Gold Peach all have unique art for that. The other 11 characters are Luigi, Peach, Wario, Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, Birdo, Bowser, Bowser Jr., Yoshi, Waluigi, and Boo. As of writing this, these amiibo are the only way to have Pink Gold Peach and Birdo as amiibo, which to be fair is still 5 more versions than characters like Toad have. April 5th, 2.5 years in, we got the first competition exclusive amiibo, and they are hands down some of the rarest of any of the amiibo, even among the contest exclusives. Capcom had a Japan exclusive competition for Monster Hunter Stories on 3DS. The grand prize was a gold one-eyed Rathalos and Rider Boy amiibo. The second place prize was a silver Leolea and Cheval. These have never been given out in any other form, even with the Nintendo sweepstakes, which would have been the perfect chance. But we'll get to that in a little bit. April 13th. In Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, you can get 20 fragments from Kirby and the Kirby series amiibo, 10 fragments from the Smash versions of Kirby, Meta Knight, and King Dedede, or you can get 5 fragments from any other amiibo. April 27th. The 2016 Nintendo Fiscal Report reported that between April 1st, 2016 and March 31st, 2017, Nintendo had sold an additional 9.1 million amiibo figures for a known grand total of 31.8 million figures and 9.3 million cards for a known grand total of 38.2 million cards. April 28th. The Switch's second major release, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, had the same functionality as Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, with the addition of Splatoon getting an additional outfit. The rest of the amiibo were Bowser, Captain Falcon, Donkey Kong, Fox, Kirby, Link, Luigi, Mario, Mega Man, Olimar, Pac-Man, Peach, Rosalina, Samus, Sonic, Toad, Villager, Wario, and Yoshi. The costumes for Kirby, Villager, and Olimar can be unlocked with any amiibo in their series. May 19th. Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia was the first and thus far only mainline Fire Emblem game to receive amiibo with the dual release of Almond Celica, the game's protagonist. Both of these unlocked dungeons that you could use for training. The other Fire Emblem amiibo could be tapped to aid you in battle. June 23rd. 3 more Legend of Zelda amiibo released to give you exclusive items in Breath of the Wild. Majora's Mask Link was exclusive to Best Buy, Skyward Sword Link was exclusive to Amazon, and Twilight Princess Link was exclusive to GameStop. July 6th. Kirby's Blowout Blast allows you to tap in Kirby series amiibo to build statues that play music in the plaza. July 8th. The Splatoon series is basically iconic for receiving amiibo 3-packs or idle 2-packs, and the launch of Splatoon 2 is no exception. The main Inklings from the box got amiibo as well as a new Squid amiibo with a much cooler pose. All 3 unlocked outfits that were exclusive to the amiibo, as well as the Splatoon 1 amiibo all had amiibo outfits, with the old 3-pack bringing their unlocks from the first game, and the Squid Sisters unlocking the story mode outfits as main game gear. July 18th. A few days before the amiibo release, Nintendo released an update for Smash 3DS and Wii U that would allow you to use Bayonetta, Cloud, and Corrin as figure players. July 21st. Not even a full 30 days after the previous exclusives, we had another set of them. Now this release is a little weird because it finally finished the Smash 4 amiibo, but it was months into the Switch's life. Anyways, to commemorate the fact that Smash 4, which had started amiibo, was finally done, Bayonetta, Cloud, and Corrin all received 2 versions of their amiibo. The Player 1 versions were their default costumes, and their Player 2 versions were their alternative costumes. The Player 2 versions, unfortunately, were all exclusives. Bayonetta Player 2 belonged to Best Buy, Cloud Player 2 was GameStop, and Corrin Player 2 was at Amazon. Corrin Player 2 was easily the hardest to obtain of the 3, as she didn't have a pre-order window, and was only available starting at noon Central Time on launch day. July 28th. Hey Pikmin created an intriguing case for amiibo that were released for 3DS games. There wasn't a bundle for the game and amiibo. The Pikmin amiibo features 5 types of Pikmin around the rock in the middle: red, blue, yellow, flying, and rock, which are the only Pikmin found in the game. I do have to highlight the fact that the game actually has unique functionality for the Splatoon Recolor Trio, which barely got any in its own series. As for other functionality, the Pikmin amiibo and Olimar amiibo can be used to call in extra Pikmin and levels. On screen right now is a list of every amiibo that works with this game and will unlock a level and thus can be collected if they're in this exact version. Good luck! The Pikmin amiibo can also be used to create other Pikmin locked levels once it has been collected. So you don't technically need the rest of the amiibo. 3DS amiibo owners were eating good today as Miitopia released with a bunch of costumes that you could tap in shortly after the story started. These amiibo were from Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Splatoon, Animal Crossing, the usual suspects. All other amiibo gave tickets for playing minigames. August 19th. If there was a chance for Ubisoft to get an amiibo, this would have been it. Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle launched with Rabbids figures roughly the same size as amiibo, but for some reason Ubisoft decided against using the brand. Instead, they allowed you to tap Mario, Peach, Yoshi, and Luigi to get exclusive weapons for the characters and their Rabbid counterparts. August 31st. The Switch version of Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack has the same functionality of the Shovel Knight fight built into Azure Striker Gunvolt 2. September 15th. Metroid Samus Returns was already a controversial release due to a fan remake of Metroid 2 being lawyered, so when they released a 2-pack alongside the game, and it locked major content behind both figures, yeah, arguably this release feels like it had enough backlash that Nintendo decided not to have anything significant locked behind Amiibo moving forward. That wasn't already in development. Samus unlocked a Metroid 2 art gallery after you beat the game and a reserve ion tank. The Metroid amiibo unlocked Metroid Maker, which could find nearby Metroids, and Fusion Mode, which put Samus in her Metroid Fusion suit and increased the difficulty. Smash Samus and Zero Suit Samus also unlocked more in-game art and a music selector respectively, which did not help the case of amiibo having too much content locked behind them. On a brighter note, Metroid is super squishy. September 22nd. The Switch launch year had a fair amount of Wii U games, and due to that we got Pokken Tournament DX. This time around, the Shadow Mewtwo amiibo card was not packed in, due to Shadow Mewtwo being unlocked from the get-go. You can still tap up to 5 amiibo per day to get a random title, customization, or gold, and as with the Wii U version, you can only get these titles and customizations through tapping an amiibo. September 28th. In my 2020 video on amiibo games, Konga Master Party was very much a surprise as Nintendo Europe was the only one that mentioned it. You can unlock 12 costumes by tapping amiibo. October 6th. The remake of Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions released with Koopa Troopa and Goomba. In addition to the Boo amiibo released in 2016, the main functionality was that the minions were given a gold version with special abilities that could be used as commanders in your fights in Bowser's Minions. In addition, they would give a special stamp when used that could be collected alongside stamps from other Mario series amiibo. October 20th. Remember how I said Fire Emblem Echoes was the only Fire Emblem mainline game to receive amiibo? Well, that's still true, because Fire Emblem Warriors was just a spin-off game using the gameplay of Dynasty Warriors. This game was released on the Switch and new 3DS systems alongside 2 new amiibo for the Fire Emblem line, Chrom and Tiki from Fire Emblem Awakening. Tapping these 2 in rewarded you with their weapons. All other Fire Emblem amiibo could be tapped in daily for a regular weapon. October 27th. Super Mario Odyssey was given what could be considered a sub-series of the Super Mario Bros. Amiibo line, as the bases are the same as the other Mario amiibo, but are considered as Super Mario Odyssey amiibo. Mario, Peach, and Bowser were given their wedding outfits from the game. Weirdly though, they weren't exactly needed as their functionality could be replicated by their other versions. Peach would give you 3 hearts, Bowser would find purple coins, and Mario would give invincibility. Tapping and select other Mario series amiibo will reward players with early unlocks of costumes available throughout the various kingdoms, and any other amiibo will give hints about moons in that area, assuming you haven't found them all. November 10th. Rise Great Champions can give basically the same functionality with a different helmet. To go alongside the Breath of the Wild DLC, Nintendo released the Champions as amiibo. Ubroza, Rivale, Mifa, and Duroc all would give you exclusive clothing items. The combination of their outfits and the DLC unlocks did basically make it impossible to have every wearable item in your in-game inventory, unfortunately. On the flip side, Mario Party Top 100 gave minimum effort for owning amiibo that hadn't even been out recently, with all Mario series amiibo giving 10 coins when you tap them in-game. However, Goomba and Koopa Troopa will give you 50 coins if you tap their amiibo next to their in-game counterparts, and they will unlock their minigame packs immediately. Minecraft 3DS released for the new 3DS systems as a physical edition, and the first print copies included a little mistake. In the top right corner, there is a mention of amiibo support. This support did not actually exist in the game at all, so this blemish was removed from future physical editions. November 17th. Mr. Todd Howard himself released Skyrim for Switch with exclusive Legend of Zelda gear. This gear could be gained through the Zelda series amiibo, which would summon a loot chest. Other amiibo would give you a loot chest to help with your journey. As is typical in third-party games, this can only be done once per day per amiibo. November 28th. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 were both given amiibo functionality in the form of obtaining ammo or points. However, if you use a Capcom series amiibo, such as Mega Man or the Japan-exclusive Monster Hunter Stories amiibo, then you could get better items and a lot of points. December 2nd. Capcom used a Famitsu article to reveal that Resident Evil amiibo had almost happened for Resident Evil Revelations. Natsuma told the magazine that the team went until the phase where they made the 3D models and composed a figure, with the characters actually being Hunk and Lady Hunk, as they were well-known characters that played a big role in Revelations Raid mode. The only cited reason for the amiibo not coming to fruition was various circumstances that caused Capcom to pull the plug. Nakanishi, the original Resident Evil Revelations director, did say he was still interested in making the amiibo, but as of this video, nothing has ever come of that. December 11th. Enter the Delicious amiibo, Nintendo's first, and as of the writing of this, only cereal amiibo. This was produced by Kellogg's in collaboration with Nintendo a few months after Super Mario Odyssey released, and would even be recognized as a unique amiibo when tapped into Odyssey under the name Delicious Amiibo. The special thing about this amiibo is that internally it's counted as an amiibo card, but due to its size it fits more in the figures category. Having to get an amiibo in the cereal aisle was definitely one of the weirdest collecting moments, especially since there were some delays in waiting for shipments to arrive compared to the actual release date. Sam's Club actually had a 2-pack that was just 2 boxes of the cereal, so collecting wise there wasn't an actual reason to buy that one if you only wanted the unique functionality. Similarly, a different 2-pack of the cereal was released in Mexico, but once again it was just 2 boxes of the Delicious Amiibo. December 25th. Merry Christmas from the Amiibo unlocks in Style Savvy Styling Star. Similar to 2016 Style Savvy, you could unlock character-themed customization to be a fashionista. This time it was character patterns with Luigi, Mario, Peach, Yoshi, and series-based patterns with the amiibo from Kirby, Splatoon, Zelda, and Animal Crossing. 2018. January 19th. Nintendo really likes having Kirby with freemium-esque games, and that continued with Kirby Battle Royale on 3DS. Tapping Kirby Series Amiibo and QB will unlock extra costumes. February 16th. The Witch is back with Bayonetta 2's release on Switch. You can tap any amiibo and unlock regular items like halos that you can collect in levels. Cool. However, if you want costumes, you can tap in any of the following: Fox, and then any version of Link, Peach, Daisy, and Samus. These can be modified by tapping in the Bayonetta Player 2 amiibo. Both Bayonetta and Bayonetta Player 2 will unlock costumes from their version of Super Mirror. For those of you that haven't played, the Super Mirror is a costume wheel that unlocks after beating the game on at least normal difficulty, with some costumes being unlocked on higher difficulties. March 16th, the Kirby series has got to be one of the biggest lovers of amiibo, and that continues with Kirby Star Allies. Tapping a Kirby series amiibo and QB will give you 2 picture pieces, a Maximum Tomato, and 2 point stars. All other amiibo will give you 1 picture piece, 1 healing item, and 2 point stars. This is once per stage. March 23rd. Detective Pikachu was released as an expanded version of the 2016 Japanese exclusive eShop game Detective Pikachu Birth of a New Duo, and to commemorate that, a giant Detective Pikachu amiibo was released. This amiibo was able to give you access to Pika prompts, which were discussions with Detective Pikachu even if you hadn't seen them. April 26th. The 2017 fiscal report showed both growth and decline. For the year, 10.3 million amiibo figures sold, a grand total of 42.1 million. However, only 5.8 million cards, a total of 44 million. Which is simply due to the only series that was available that fiscal year for cards being Mario Sports Superstars. May 18th. Continuing with the Wii U remakes, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition released on Switch with more amiibo functionality. All Zelda series amiibo released prior to Breath of the Wild will give you weapons rated 3 stars or higher. All other amiibo will give gear and weapons rated 3 stars or lower, rupees, and crafting material. This is another game with 5 amiibo per day. Bandai Namco published Little Nightmares Complete Edition and allowed the use of the Pac-Man amiibo, which would unlock the Paku mask. May 22nd. Give it up for Capcom. They followed Pokemon's example of releasing 2 versions of the game, but even more painfully with the dual release of Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2. 2 separate games with basically the same functionality. Like the 3DS version, tapping in Mega Man gets you 11 exclusive challenges designed by fans, and Collection 1 and Collection 2 gets you new platforming challenges. July 13th. Don't get cooked, stay off the hook with the 4th annual Splatoon amiibo set. Marina and Pearl could be used to unlock their outfits from the DLC, and would actually change into those outfits if you took photos with them, including when you went on stage with them during Splatfest. This set did coincide with the release of the DLC, though if you weren't up to date on Splatoon, it would feel like a random amiibo release. As is fairly typical, Nintendo released these amiibo alongside a game. This time, it was the Switch and 3DS release of one of my favorite Wii U games, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. The ability to play hide and seek with Pixel Toad was actually in the base game instead of being locked behind the Toad amiibo this time, so instead you could tap Toad to get an invincibility mushroom. And then the Mario Odyssey versions of Mario, Peach, and Bowser would unlock the bonus Odyssey levels early. August 3rd, 3DS games were given a lot of amiibo support, and WarioWare Gold continued that tradition with almost every amiibo figure at the time having the ability to give a photo of that character, which could be sold to Wario for in-game coins. October 2nd, the release of Mega Man 11 for Switch rewarded GameStop with an exclusive collector's edition that featured an amiibo for Mega Man's new design. At least, if he had done something cool, it would have made up for the $30 price increase, but he acts just like the Smash and Gold Mega Man amiibo, where he gives you a 1-up or an energy tank. October 4th, another Japan exclusive contest that was in honor of Mega Man 11's release. The Gold Mega Man 11 amiibo actually had proper box art, unlike the Gold Mega Man that was released with the 3DS collection. Unlike the previous Capcom competition, this raffle was for 10 copies of the amiibo, and as far as I've seen, only this picture from one of the winners exists online. October 5th. Let's celebrate the release of Super Mario Party by having all the Super Mario amiibo unlock character-specific shiny stickers. All other amiibo will give you party points to help unlock background music and other extras. October 12th. With 3DS support dwindling, Nintendo decided to make the incredibly questionable decision of remaking Luigi's Mansion for 3DS. Tapping Luigi gives you a revive if you run out of health, or will light up furniture to hide a speedy spirit. Toad will cause the save point toads to restore health, the Boo amiibo will show up to 3 hidden Boos in the mansion, and Mario makes the poison mushrooms into super mushrooms. October 19th. Praise the Sun! GameStop had another exclusive this month, Solaire of Historia from Dark Souls. Unfortunately, Solaire only allows you to perform the Praise the Sun emote early, which made the amount of difficulty in securing him that much worse. October 31st. The report for the halfway point of the fiscal year showed us that approximately 50 million amiibo figures have been sold since 2014. December 1st, the Loot Goblin amiibo was released roughly a month after the launch of Diablo 3 on Switch, and it is quite different. The figure mold is from the Diablo Cute but Deadly figure series. The base is oval with only this red coloring. Oh, and did I mention that this was yet another GameStop exclusive? Functionality wise, it unlocks the vault once a day, so you can go and fight in there. There was also an employee only gold version, which showed up online several years later. Here's a look at that. December 7th. A month after their international counterparts, the Octoling 3-pack released with Octoling Girl, Octoling Boy, and Octopus. As with the previous Splatoon releases, these gave gear as you won battles. For the Knights vs. Witches Splatfest, you could actually use the helmet and shoes, and the game would make it look like you were wearing the full set instead of the Splatfest shirt. This was also the day that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate released, and with it the 11th wave of Smash Amiibo, Inkling, Ridley, and Wolf. They could be used exactly the same as the previous Smash Bros. Amiibo, in that you got to fight and train them by tapping them in. You could also tap in non-Smash Amiibo to unlock their related spirits, or even their content early like with Timmy and Tommy. 2019, January 11th. If there was ever a time to give Bowser Jr. a Super Mario Bros. Series amiibo, this was it. Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey was another remake in the last year of the 3DS, and not only did it barely get good support, it didn't even follow the last Mario & Luigi remake by giving the side game's titular character an amiibo. Tapping in Mario Series amiibo will give you useful items for your journey. January 17th. This is a game that I feel, even when including the developers, I'm the only one that acknowledges the amiibo support or even the fact that it exists. Build-A-Bridge is a mobile game being sold for $15 on the Switch eShop that includes 80 regular levels, and if you play them all on the same day, each will require you to use a different amiibo in order to unlock hat to put on the vehicle in that level. But that's not all. There are 5 bonus stages that have to be unlocked using amiibo, each level allowing you to build a bridge for Mario's standard cart from Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8. The once per day lock is insanely annoying when you have to tap every amiibo per level, as the levels don't last more than a few minutes max each. January 27th. For once, a competition hosted by Nintendo had exclusive amiibo. The Gold Octoling and Gold Inkling were given to the winning team at the Splatoon 2 World Championship in 2019. These were given to the GG Boys, though the exact number is unknown. As with the Mega Man 11 amiibo, this is the only picture I've ever seen online. Especially with the actual trophies also being shaped like the Octoling amiibo, it's hard to confirm that each member actually got a set. February 15th. Continuing the trend from Smash Ultimate's launch, Nintendo released another trio of new and returning fighters: Ice Climbers, King K. Rool, and the game's first DLC character, Piranha Plant. March 8th. It really does feel like Nintendo was trying to supplement new content for these re-releases by adding in amiibo support. Tapping Kirby Series amiibo into Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn gives power-ups matching the characters. March 29th. Much like with Woolly World, Nintendo allowed Good Feel to develop Yoshi's Crafted World, and they absolutely knocked the amiibo costumes out of the park. You can use Bowser, Green Yarn Yoshi, Koopa Troopa, Blue Yarn Yoshi, Luigi, Mario, Peach, Pink Yarn Yoshi, Poochie, Toad, and regular Yoshi to unlock the armor costume for that specific character, or you can use one of my favorite costumes by tapping in any other amiibo to get the amiibo box costume. April 12th. Remember Nintendo Labo VR? No? Well, I do, but only because that's the thing I decided against buying so I could spend more money on amiibo. The third trio of Smash Ultimate amiibo, Daisy, Young Link, and Ken, released alongside Labo because why not? April 25th. Starting with this fiscal report, there aren't actually individual sales numbers for any of the amiibo brand, so I won't be mentioning it after this year. May 30th. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate updated to version 3.1 with the new feature, Amiibo Journey. This mode would allow you to automatically train an amiibo against other amiibo online. June 27th. Konami officially entered the business of licensing the Amiibo brand to help sell their Switch games with the release of 6 Amiibo cards for Powerful Pro Baseball. With the exception of Power Pro, each card was exclusive to at least one retailer. Actually, the definition of exclusive was stretched a little thin here for half the cards. Power Pro was released with every copy of the game. Amazon Japan had Kayakura, Geo had Daijobi, 5 stores had Ganda, 6 stores had Ikari, and 7 stores had Yagi. The rarest of these cards actually ended up being Karakari, probably due to the ease of international collectors being able to order from Amazon Japan. All 6 cards allow you to receive in-game items and power-ups and save items to your card after playing with friends, but it is a limit of 5 per day. July 26th. Another little trio of Smash Amiibo released alongside Fire Emblem Three Houses. Since Fire Emblem Amiibo were the only ones to give proper functionality, the release of Smash Ultimate's Pokemon Trainer Pichu and Isabelle meant nothing for the game. Fire Emblem Three Houses allows you to unlock 11 songs by tapping every Fire Emblem Amiibo that was released at this time. After doing so, these Amiibo will give you higher quality items and materials. Other Amiibo will give you random items and random materials. September 4th. It's not often that the Switch basically gets the same functionality as the 3DS game, but Super Kirby Clash got the exact same Amiibo support as Team Kirby Clash Deluxe. That being, you get 20 fragments from the Kirby Series Amiibo and QB, or 10 fragments from the Smash versions of the Kirby Amiibo, or 5 from any other Amiibo. September 20th. The cutest little Link Amiibo released with Link's Awakening Remake on Switch. This Amiibo will unlock the Shadow Link for custom dungeons, and using 5 other Zelda series Amiibo will grant you access to the Great Fairy, the Moblin Chief, the Winged Item, the Armos Knight, and the Ball and Chain Trooper Chambers. All Zelda series Amiibo will let you save your chamber dungeon to share with your friends. Alongside Toy Link, 3 more Smash Ultimate Amiibo were released: Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Snake. November 15th. While completely unrelated to Pokemon Sword and Shield, Nintendo released Simon, Chrom, and Incineroar to coincide with the fall's biggest Switch game. December 10th. Shovel Knight fans rejoice as Shovel Knight Treasure Trove and the Promised Amiibo were finally released. Spectre Knight, King Knight, and Plague Knight released as a 3-pack, and then as a bonus, Shovel Knight was restocked as a Gold Edition Amiibo. That is officially what was said by Yacht Club Games, as the blue version would not be restocked because the gold version was now available. Much like Gold Smash Mega Man, this Amiibo had the exact same functionality as his blue counterpart. As for the Amiibo, they could be tapped into the 3DS, Wii U, and Switch versions of Shovel Knight to unlock new costumes and more challenges. In Shovel Knight Showdown, all 4 Amiibo will unlock special costumes. In Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, the Shovel Knight Amiibo unlock challenge stages, customizable gear, summon a Fairy of Chivalry to keep you company, and unlock a special costume for your character. Yacht Club Games partnered with Berserk Studios to release a Shovel Knight DLC for Just Shapes and Beats on December 4th, but who needs to unlock the character songs normally when 6 days later you were able to unlock songs by tapping in their Amiibo. Blue and Gold Shovel Knight unlocks Strike the Earth, Plague Knight gives Flowers of Antimony, Spectre Knight gives La Danse Macabre, King Knight gives In the Halls of the Usurper. All other Amiibo give 100 beat points per day with a max of 5 Amiibo per day. 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. Pandemic and lockdown caused shortages of parts and labor, so things got delayed, which made this the lightest year for releases and functionality. January 17th. Dark Samus and Richter released as the last 2 Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Amiibo, once again marking a period of wait time for Smash Amiibo to release. This duo released alongside Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE Encore, because Nintendo's hope was, and let me make sure I have this right, that a spin-off combination of Shin Megami Tensei with some characters from Fire Emblem Awakening would get you to go to a store and also buy 2 Amiibo at the same time when they can't even be used in the game. It feels like a very antiquated system, but they've been releasing them alongside random games for 5.5 years at this point, so I guess somebody determined it worked. March 20th, Animal Crossing New Horizons released with the same functionality as Animal Crossing New Leaf's Welcome Amiibo update, in which you could have villagers move into your town, and you could go to Harv's Island to take photos with any other cards. The only downgrade here was that you weren't able to have villagers sell you items as they all start in your campsite and not a unique RV. However, by tapping in an amiibo, you were able to obtain their poster from the shipping catalog. And right at launch, if you had the Sanrio cards from their 2016 release, you could use them to get the previously mentioned art cards as posters, as the 6 Sanrio characters were not in the game. May 8th. On the short list of indie games that have amiibo support, Megabyte Punch is certainly one of them. This game has amiibo costumes. July 9th. Unbeknownst to most of the amiibo community, the 2020 version of Power Pro Baseball utilized amiibo functionality. Tapping in compatible amiibo will give you in-game items. October 2nd. Joker and Hero released as the first 2 Smash Ultimate DLC amiibo, and that's kind of all there is to them. They lack functionality in their games on Switch, so they only work properly with Smash. Joker was roughly 10% of his statue prices, so he got bought up pretty quickly. November 20th. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was announced and released shortly after I made a video about all the games that had amiibo functionality on Switch. It was the last game in 2020 to have amiibo functionality, and it kinda just uses the same functionality. The Legend of Zelda series amiibo will drop specific materials or weapons for characters so long as you have them unlocked. Bokoblin, Wolflink, and Link will give gear for Link, and then all other Zelda series amiibo will give gear for their character, with Sheik being related to Zelda. Any other amiibo or Zelda characters that you haven't unlocked will give you random low-level gear and materials. 2021. January 18th. This was the day that the West officially learned about the 3rd Capcom contest. This time for gold versions of the Monster Hunter Rise amiibo, Magnamola, Palico, and Palamut. This was done through 7-Eleven in Japan as a purchase to enter opportunity. From January 25th through April 11th, if you purchased a digital download code of the game, you would be entered to win one of these 3 figures. Unfortunately, the website that displayed that info has long since stopped showing the info, so there's no way knowing how many copies of the set were actually given away by 7-Eleven. January 26th. The King of Crossovers continues his reign in Cyber Shadow for Nintendo Switch. Tapping in a Shovel Knight series amiibo unlocks a fairy companion and a color palette matching the character. As is typical with the recolored amiibo, Gold and Blue Shovel Knight both count as Blue Shovel Knight. February 12th. Did you ever want to hold popcorn ceiling in your hands? Well, Nintendo has made that possible with the release of Cat Mario and Cat Peach. These were released alongside Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, and do have some functionality with the game. Cat Mario will give you an invincibility bell to turn you into a white cat, and Cat Peach will summon a random power-up. Smash Bowser and Bowser Jr. also got a restock for this game, with any Bowser amiibo allowing you to activate Fury Bowser and Bowser's Fury. Bowser Jr. can be tapped to unleash a powerful shockwave to knock out nearby enemies and blocks in Bowser's Fury. All other amiibo give 1-up mushrooms in the main game, or a super mushroom in Bowser's Fury. March 18th. The day Universal Studios Japan released the 6 power-up bands. These are very similar to the Magic Bands that Disney released at their North American parks, but they had more functionality than their Disney counterparts. Not only can these be used as amiibo, but they could connect to your phone and be used around the theme park. March 26th. As part of the 1-year anniversary of Animal Crossing New Horizons, Nintendo finally released the Animal Crossing X Sanrio cards in North America. Not only that, but their cards finally allow their villagers to come to your island. That is, of course, if you were able to obtain them from Target at launch. I'm not sure people understood that you only had to obtain 1 pack of these to get the entire set. So the online portion was fairly quickly shut down, but they were somewhat available in stores on launch, and I've seen them recently 3 years later, so the stock did kind of sit. This was not the only release today. Monster Hunter Rise featured the first Monster Hunter amiibo to arrive stateside: Palamut, Magnamalo, and Palico. All 3 of these were exclusive to GameStop, at least for their solo releases. There was also a collector's edition of Rise that contained Magnamalo. For Monster Hunter Rise, the Magnamalo, Palamut, and Palico amiibo give special layered armor and allow you to enter a daily lottery for a variety of useful items. The Monster Hunter Stories 2 amiibo give a bunch of stickers. All other amiibo give a random item. And rounding out the very busy release, the last 3 Smash Bros. Amiibo for the first wave of DLC released, with Byleth, Banjo-Kazooie, and Terry. Much to the dismay of the community, female Byleth did not get an amiibo, unlike when Corrin had released in 2017. May 21st. As a 3DS remake for Nintendo Switch, Miitopia brought over a fair amount of amiibo-locked content. You could obtain character costumes by tapping Bowser, Callie, Daisy, DK, Ganondorf, Inkling Boy, Inkling Girl, Inkling Squid, Isabelle, KK Slider, Kirby, Link, Luigi, Mary, Mario, Ness, Peach, Rossetti, Rosalina, Samus, Sheik, Toad, Tom Nook, Yoshi, Zelda, Zero Suit Samus. All other amiibo figures give you tickets for playing minigames. If you tap in an amiibo card, power band, or cereal box, you'll get a message confirming the amiibo researcher only cares about the figures. July 7th. Since Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin have both released in 2021, Nintendo and Capcom did 2 major sweepstakes. There were 15 total amiibo, given to 10 winners per sweepstakes. For Rise, Nintendo gave out a regular, gold, and silver version of Magnamalo, Palico, and Palamet. Yes, these were the same gold versions that 7-Eleven gave out this same year. The silver copies were brand new, as were the gold copies of Ina, Roswing Ratha, and Saikuno, each of which was given next to their original versions. The first sweepstakes ran from July 7th to August 7th, and officially ended on August 8th. July 9th. 2 days later, Monster Hunter Stories 2 finally released, giving us Ina, Roswing Ratha, and Saikuno as exclusive amiibo to GameStop. This game also had a collector's edition that featured Roswing Ratha, but this wasn't exclusive. Ina, Roswing, and Saikuno unlock special armor. Saikuno reads your fortune and lets you receive a random item. The Monster Hunter Stories amiibo will give you a specific rider outfit, and also let Saikuno read your fortune and receive a random item. The Monster Hunter Rise amiibo will give you a hunter sticker set and allow you to get your fortune read. All other amiibo give you a random item. July 16th. Nintendo finally released an easy button. The Zelda and Loftwing amiibo was a bit pricey at $25 compared to the Switch amiibo's standard price, but the quality was extremely high on it, so that balanced out a bit. This was released alongside Skyward Sword HD, and tapping the amiibo will give you the ability to quick travel between Skylift and the surface regardless of your location, including dungeons. August 9th. Round 2, baby! As previously mentioned, August 8th marked the end of the first Monster Hunter amiibo giveaway by Nintendo of America. The very next day, the second sweepstakes began. This ran from August 9th until September 7th and officially ended on September 8th. This was done the exact same way, and that there were 10 winners, each receiving 15 amiibo. August 12th. Konami's second set of amiibo cards released for Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel Strongest Battle Royale, and it honestly went the opposite of the baseball cards. These 7 cards were quote-unquote in blind packs, tied to purchases of the game, but it very much feels like they were just handed out en masse, as it was very easy to obtain them if you just waited a few days for international shops like Baggy. The cards are Japanese names. I'm not going to do anybody the disservice of trying to read those. Though the website has been updated, I do remember when these were originally announced that none of them were actually shown off. October 8th. Weirdly enough, I don't think Nintendo's ever proven that they know how to release actual stock other than by ensuring the Metroid Dread 2-pack was insanely overstocked compared to the Metroid Samus Returns 2-pack from 2017. Samus and Emmy also didn't lock anything insane behind their functionality. However, it was still fairly beneficial to have both amiibo. The Dread version of Samus permanently increases health by 100, Emmy permanently increases missile capacity by 10, the other Samus amiibo restore a random amount of health per day, and the Metroid series enemy amiibo will give you a random amount of missiles once per day. November 5th. With the popularity of New Horizons, Nintendo decided to release the Animal Crossing Series 5 amiibo cards. Single-handedly, this was the closest a release has felt to the early 2015 days. I was living in Orlando at this point, so I had easy access to stores that should have been receiving the cards. I went to Target, Best Buy, and GameStop, and there was a total of 4 packs between the 3 stores, and I got 0 because GameStop had all 4 and decided that the first 2 people in line would get 2 packs each, for a line of 4 people. And this was fairly consistent from what I heard from other people that showed up at the stores and from what I saw online. Now the reason for this pain? Simple. Nintendo put 24 special NPCs, and only one per pack, which meant you had to obtain at least 24 packs in order to know which cards you actually needed. This was also the first time in years that amiibo were really sought by non-collectors outside of third-party characters. A lot of the people waiting outside the stores wanted the cards exclusively for certain villagers, which might have been due to the Sanrio villagers being tied to the cards and not being able to be traded in-game. Now, how many villagers did Nintendo decide should be in this pack? 24. You needed a minimum of only 5 packs to get all the regular villagers, which is such an imbalance between the NPCs and villagers that I don't really understand the logic behind their decision when there's so many other Animal Crossing villagers that are stuck on older games. This of course coincided with the release date of the DLC, Happy Home Paradise, which allowed you to tap in all 509 amiibo cards for Animal Crossing and build homes for them just like in Happy Home Designer. This update also added the 48 characters as options to obtain their character posters, assuming they didn't already have one in the game. December 13th, Yacht Club Games got to start and end the year with basically the same amiibo support. In Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, all Shovel Knight series amiibo summon a fairy friend based on the character tapped in. 2022. The beginning of 2022 was fairly weak for amiibo. Capcom announced amiibo for the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak DLC during their Direct in early February, and various amiibo were restocked, such as all 5 series of Animal Crossing amiibo cards, but not the Welcome amiibo set. Ultimately, it was just a test of patience for any new amiibo to release. March 25th. Another Kirby game with functionality for the Hell Labs amiibo, Kirby and the Forgotten Land continues the tradition of Kirby series amiibo and QB being given slightly better stuff than other amiibo by giving star coins and a boost item. All other amiibo receive star coins and a health recovery item. April 21st. Another Konami game that slipped through the cracks was Power Pro Baseball 2022. Much like the 2020 version, this game would give you in-game items for tapping compatible amiibo. April 29th. Min Min was the first Smash Ultimate Wave 2 DLC fighter to get an amiibo, and was the first proper amiibo release in months. June 24th. As with every Nintendo series that was made into a Dynasty Warrior games, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Houses allowed you to receive better quality resources, weapons, and equipment by tapping in Fire Emblem series amiibo, and then just regular versions of those by tapping other amiibo. June 29th. Another year, another chance for Capcom to release contest-exclusive amiibo, and with Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak DLC trial version having been run, it was the perfect chance to do another Twitter contest. This was used as a chance for Capcom to receive feedback on the DLC and give away 6 new amiibo. They were the Platinum and Metallic Red versions, Palamute Canine, Malzeno X, and Palico Feline. There were 20 winners according to the website, and all you had to do was live in Japan and tweet the Monster Hunter Rise Japan Twitter about the trial. The only unfortunate thing was that there were only 10 copies of both the Platinum and Metallic Red versions, so only 10 sets released for both colors. June 30th. Oh look, another Monster Hunter release with amiibo. You know what that means? Palamute Canine, Malzeno X, and Palico Feline were added to the roster of GameStop exclusives, at least for their solo releases. Malzeno X could also be bought in the collector's edition of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which was not exclusive to GameStop. All 3 amiibo give special amiibo locked costumes and will allow you to enter the daily lottery. This is, of course, on top of the other functionality from the other amiibo from the previous year. July 29th. Nintendo gave content for an amiibo they didn't restock. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 allowed you to tap in Shulk and obtain the Monado as a weapon skin for the Sword Fighter class, assuming you had him from February 2015 or one of his small restocks since then, one of which was fall 2015. Other amiibo will give you helpful items in-game. September 9th. Splatoon 3 launched alongside Smash Bros. Amiibo Steve and Alex, who were given a 2-pack in North America, and then both a 2-pack and solo releases internationally, as well as a restock of the Squid Sisters and the original Splatoon 3-pack. Splatoon 3 got most of the same functionality as Splatoon 2. All Splatoon amiibo will unlock exclusive gear, but now with more options for clothing, from Pearl and Octoling Girl, so that you could have a bit more gendered clothing if you wanted. You can also take photos with all the amiibo using the new photo mode. However, you were no longer able to obtain a song for doing enough battles after befriending the amiibo. November 9th. Nintendo's fiscal report came out for the 6-month briefing, and we learned that Nintendo had sold 77 million amiibo figures between November 2014 and September 2022. We still have no word on the total number of cards at this point. November 11th. Splatoon 3 had been out for roughly 2 months at this point, and since the restocks took the limelight during September, we instead got Yellow Inkling Girl, Blue Octoling Boy, and Small Fry corresponding with the Pokemon Starter Splatfest. Much like the other Splatoon amiibo, these 3 give you costumes to use in-game and can have photos taken with them wherever you are. We also saw the return of the Off the Hook amiibo as their restock finally arrived stateside. 2023. January 13th. The first release of the 8th year of Amiibo saw the release of Sephiroth and Kazuha. With only Mythra and Pyra announced at this time, it was the lowest number of Amiibo known in the entire history. January 20th. A week later, Core Player 2 was finally restocked for the first time since Amazon had her as an exclusive in 2017. Her re-release actually coincided with the release of Fire Emblem Engage, which had different functionality from the previous Fire Emblem amiibo support. This time around, you could unlock 12 costumes using the 13 Fire Emblem amiibo, though which one you tapped in didn't matter. Only up to 5 amiibo per day could be scanned, all other amiibo will just give helpful items. February 17th. While Super Nintendo World and Universal Hollywood have been selling the power-up bands since the soft launch in mid-January, February 17th officially marked the day they were being sold outside of Japan. These are the exact same bands and have the exact same functionality, so there's not much more to cover on them unless the second wave shows up, hint hint wink wink. February 24th. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe released with amiibo functionality that allowed you to tap in Kirby Series amiibo to get 2 stars, a power-up, and a maximum tomato, or tap in any other amiibo and get 2 stars, a large star, and a food item. March 10th. To be on the shelves in time for the Mario movie, Nintendo started restocking the Mario series amiibo, with Mario, Peach, Donkey Kong, Bowser going to multiple stores and Luigi becoming an exclusive restock to Target. I haven't really covered this as much, but it's so weird that restocks were exclusive over the years. March 18th. To celebrate the 2-year anniversary of Super Nintendo World at Universal Japan, a gold Mario Power-Up Band was released. This band taps in as Mario when used with a compatible Switch title, but would probably tap in as Gold Mario if there was Switch games that were updated to use it. It very much appears to be the same gold used on Gold Mario, Gold Mega Man, and Gold Shovel Knight. March 31st. While not a huge thing, this was the night of the first Splatfest with Dinkopolis and Splatoon 3, which confirmed that amiibo of the idols cannot be used if they are on stage in that plaza. May 12th. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Link amiibo released. The unique gliders could be unlocked by using almost any Zelda series amiibo, the exception being Wolflink from Twilight Princess HD, as Wolflink only spawns in piles of meat. The Smash Twilight Princess Link, as in the one from 2014, will spawn in Epona unless she is your active force. The Link amiibo from the following games share a paraglider: Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, and Wind Waker. Where some regions saw most or all of the Zelda series amiibo get restocked, we only had a handful of exclusives from the 30th anniversary and the 2017 trio go to a few stores that still carry amiibo. These were Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and the Wind Waker 2-pack, and also the 8-bit Link. July 6th. An update for Shovel Knight Dig was released that incorporated amiibo functionality to bring some fairy friends to aid in your quest. July 20th. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 updated to 2.1 to allow use of the amiibo that were releasing the next day. July 21st. Mythra and Pyra were released with functionality unlocking both of their weapons and obviously functionality for Smash Bros. Ultimate as they are Smash amiibo. September 3rd. In the second half of Nintendo Live, there was an official Smash Bros. Amiibo tournament for 10 to 16 year olds. So-called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Amiibo Plus Me Exhibition 2023 The tournament required participants to not only have an official amiibo to use with Smash, but also to have tickets on the day of the tournament. That meant that you had to secure either a family or individual ticket for the event, which was completely random as to whether or not you would actually get it. However, the trophy was only a special display case, and this was for a couple places, but thankfully no special amiibo. Or not thankfully, I guess, for the winners. November 3rd, the Tears of the Kingdom Zelda and Ganondorf amiibo released, giving paragliders for both characters. November 9th, with the release of the 6th wave of the Booster Course Pass, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was given a new amiibo locked Mii costume, Daisy. November 17th, the Deep Cut amiibo released, each giving players outfits based on the character's story mode appearance. December 5th, during a press conference about Universal Japan's Donkey Kong expansion plans, 2 new power-up bands were announced, Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong. 2024, January 19th. New amiibo released and were immediately given functionality of 4 clothing items each for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. February 16th, Sora finally released, marking the first time the Smash Bros. Amiibo line didn't have any amiibo lined up since 2017. As of his release, there were no figures or cards announced, which meant the only thing we had to look forward to were the 2 new power-up bands. February 17th, for the 1-year anniversary of Super Nintendo World Hollywood, the Gold Mario Power-Up Band came stateside. April 26th, NES Rob and Duck Hunt Dog were given their first North American solo releases as part of the massive restocks that Nintendo was doing this year. May 22nd, also part of the massive restocks, North America received the Mii Fighter Trio as a solo release for the first time ever, which was the first time they've been available since 2015. June 14th, Monster Hunter Stories released on Switch and thankfully kept the amiibo functionality from the 3DS version. It also had new functionality for the Monster Hunter Stories 2 amiibo. The Rise and Sunbreak amiibo only give consumables rather than proper new content, but that's okay because they didn't restock in the amiibo anyways, so it's fine. But yeah, the 6 Monster Hunter Stories amiibo still give their various monsters as eggs. July 18th, another biannual release for Power Pro Baseball was revealed to have another round of in-game items by tapping incompatible amiibo. This was also the day that Mr. Game & Watch received his solo release in North America. July 19th, as part of the Splatoon 3 Grand Festival Splatfest announcement, Nintendo revealed 2 new sets of figures, Calamari and Marina Pearl, with all 4 in new outfits. These were the first new amiibo announcements since Sora's release. September 5th, the 4 new Splatoon amiibo released, with Calamari being in their alternate outfits and Marina and Pearl being in their side order outfits. This release actually gave people a week to obtain them from launch to be able to use them in the Grand Festival Splatfest, though it was a bit rough with delays, so I'm not sure how well that actually played out. Each amiibo unlocked unique costumes and allowed players to take photos with them just like any other Splatoon amiibo. September 11th, the day before the Grand Festival Splatfest, Splatoon 3 was updated to version 9.1.0. In the minutes following the results of the final Splatoon 3 Splatfest, I confirmed that this update had added functionality for both Squid Sister sets, both Off the Hook sets, and the Deep Cut set to allow players to tap any of the idols to go back to the different days of the Grand Festival Splatfest, which is very similar to the functionality from after the Cali vs. Mari Splatfest from the first game. This update also added in custom textures for using any of the non-idol amiibo while you are at the Grand Festival grounds, adding paint to them just like the player character during the Grand Festival Splatfest. September 26th, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom released and finally brought a new first-party release with amiibo functionality, the first in over a year. Depending on where you are in the game, the functionality changes. Prior to the 3rd major dungeon, you can only acquire materials for smoothies or other useful items. After the 3rd dungeon, you can tap in any Zelda series amiibo to unlock exclusive costumes, which Zelda can wear during her journey. These costumes were separated into 3 categories. Any Zelda amiibo will give you a blue dress that references her Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time designs. Ganondorf, the Goblin, Guardian, and the Champions give the Black Cat costume, which allows Zelda to talk to cats around Hyrule, and then any Link amiibo gives his red tunic from Ocarina of Time. It should be noted that Echoes of Wisdom only allows you to tap 3 amiibo per day, which is the lowest daily limit I've seen. Unfortunately, there was no Chibi Zelda to coincide with the game, with Nintendo instead opting to restock Wind Waker Zelda from the 30th anniversary as a solo release, and also Link's Awakening Link. October 17th. So this is a bit of a blemish on Nintendo's record. Super Mario Party Jamboree released in North America with box art mentioning that amiibo were compatible with the game. However, as of this recording, no such functionality exists. It is also not mentioned anywhere on the eShop, and other regions' boxes apparently also don't include this. October 25th. As a way to extend the life of Splatoon 3 after the Grand Festival Splatfest, Nintendo started doing new versions of the Holiday Splatfest, with the first being Splatoween. It was discovered that if you go back to the Grand Festival grounds via one of the Idol amiibo during the Splatfest, then you see the past, present, or future pick associated with the choice you made for the current Splatfest. In this case, Wizards vs Knights vs Ninjas, so I got passed since it's the first, like Wizards. Unfortunately, despite the reused Halloween theme, the functionality from the Splatoon 2 Knights vs Switches Splatfest did not return. Since I earned it just before the Splatfest, I will mention that there is a title prefix for amiibo collecting. This is not earned through tapping amiibo though, and it has existed basically since the game launched, it just took me over 2 years to earn it. November 11th. Nintendo hosted a Super Nintendo World Japan Direct that announced the opening date for the Donkey Kong Country expansion as December 11th, 2024. This includes the release of the Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong power-up bands, which will also serve as amiibo, much like the other 7. The future. As of this recording, this is everything I'm aware of concerning amiibo moving forward. Universal Japan will have the Donkey Kong expansion open on December 11th, and release the DK and Diddy Kong power-up bands, which are the only 2 amiibo we know about currently. Universal's Epic Universe will open next year in Orlando, Florida on May 22nd, and bring the 8 regular power-up bands, all of which should still have amiibo functionality. Based on Universal Japan and Universal Hollywood, the Gold Mario Power-Up Band is highly likely to follow with a release for an anniversary, probably the 1 year, so May 22nd, 2026. So in a way, it's just stock being allocated to a new region, similar to how the Sanrio cards were for North America in 2021, since we didn't get their original 2016 release. As for other potential releases, no one knows. New amiibo and new functionality are not very common at this point. However, I firmly believe there is zero reason for Nintendo to invest any money towards making the power bands into amiibo if they were just going to scrap amiibo going into the Switch successor. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Closing thoughts. This has been a major undertaking for a few years now, so if the end of the Switch is really where Nintendo is going to leave us as far as new amiibo are concerned, then it has been a wonderful ride. Collecting and using amiibo has been a significant portion of my time in gaming for the last decade, and the consideration that they will eventually stop making them is one that I have not taken lightly. The early days allowed me to spend time with my best friends, just trying to see what we were able to collect after pre-orders basically sold out instantly. And now here I am, 10 years since the very first amiibo release, with a complete collection of every retail released figure, card, cereal box, and power-up band. I've absolutely enjoyed the journey that I took to get to this point, and I will continue down this path until the very last amiibo releases.